Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chief Executive Officer of CODGEN, Dr. Harsha Subasinghe, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to have a little talk about my success. I think, I don't know whether it's exaggerated or not, but I actually came to talk about the car. Anyway, so I actually saw so many people who was getting awards. One of the things I always want to know, how many of these inventions have actually become materialized and become a product. So that is a thing we really wanted to establish some kind of a statistical analysis to see that what happened to these innovations. So what these concepts become concept prototypes, or is it become working prototypes, or is it actually gone into the production itself? So that's one of the things that I was actually sitting there and thinking, I can stop developing everything if I take all these inventions I just saw right now, if I can market and sell it, then I can actually probably become a billionaire rather than being a millionaire. So that's one of the things I was sitting there and thinking. So now talking about millionaire and a billionaire. So millionaires are, I always think, the people who actually go out and look at some kind of market potential. So then when they see the market potential, they go there and analyze the market and see how many pieces they require. And then we call the bricks and mortar a kind of innovation. So then they will actually try to provide a solution to that particular specific problem. So by doing that, they will do so many calculations saying that if I do about 10 of them or 100 of them or a million of them, by doing so, I can make this amount of money. So that is the type of a bricks and mortar millionaires. They are the people that most of the Sri Lankans I've seen, lots of the most richest guys in this country, we see all these bricks and mortar millionaires. But I don't know anybody who's actually a billionaire. A dollar billionaire, not a millionaire, a dollar billionaire. I haven't seen or haven't met anybody. The second type of guys are completely and utterly crazy. They only have some kind of passion. They only believe in something. They want something and they go for it. When they go for it, they don't think anything about what you want to do, what are you going to do about it, or how much it's going to cost you, what is going to happen after that. And all these other things just disappear. Only thing you have is like absolute passion of what you really want. So the story about this car is one of that. So I was living in UK for 23 years or so, and then I decided to move down to Sri Lanka because I have more people working in Sri Lanka, over 250, 300 people than in UK. So since I decided to move in here, I'm kind of a techie guy. I always like technology, and I like to go there and try out every single technology that's available in the market. And also, a little bit in the fast lane, I also drive quite a lot of cars, and then fast cars. So I like about the acceleration part of it than anything else. So like when I came to Sri Lanka, I was actually driving a Prius. So when I saw, as you see those streets, you see about like 20 vehicles on a straight line. So the most important part for me to overtake the bus or the lorry that's going so slow. So in order to do that, you need to have a lightning fast car. So, but my thing is to buy a lightning fast car. So I actually bought a Porsche. That particular Porsche does not actually accelerate as fast as possible. So I thought that the next option for me is to go for something like a Lamborghini. And then when I look at the price of the Lamborghini comes to about $1 million in Sri Lanka. So I thought it's absolutely crazy to invest $1 million in a car. So instead, I thought that let's go there and develop a car. We'll build a car rather than just buying a car. So that was a crazy idea where that actually came up to develop this a car called Vega. So Vega is self-explanatory. Vega means the speed in Sinhala. So we thought we were going to build that. So I was actually having under impression to build this particular car. And when you're trying to build a car, I was thinking that, well, how am I going to build this particular car? Then I was trying to find some crazy guys. So first thing is two of them are there, three of them are there actually. So, so trying to find these crazy guys. So we actually developed this a working community called TRACE, that's called a Technologically Reawakened Culture of Excellence, to bring all these different expertise under one roof. So when I saw all of you you have so many different expertise, I don't see you working together. You know, the investor is somewhere else, the entrepreneur is somewhere else, developer is somewhere else. So why can't you bring all these guys together? So the TRACE initiative is to bring all these different type of people together. So you can have electrical guys, electronic guys, software guys, mechanical guys, biochemical guys, bioengineering guys, and bring all that guys together, and also to create an ecosystem so that you can have some people to invest on it, and some people to take into the market, and some people are very good at an international market. So the TRACE concept is actually to do that. So if you go to www.trace.lk, you can have a look at that particular site, and we all can join hands together in that. So based on the TRACE, I send these particular messages to all these guys to say that I am having this crazy idea about developing this car. And then first person to turn up or pass my office was Bishan Kulapal, who's over here. And I called Bishan and said, Bishan, can we make a car? And he said, okay. So that was the best reception I ever got. So the first guy I talked to, he said, okay, let's build a car. So since then, we actually posted some of the mails into this TRACE group. And then there were so many different expertise. Different expertise in aeronautical engineering, so which is Tilak is already here. And then also experience in electronic and electrical engineering, and then also body design engineering, and so many different disciplines of expertise it requires in order to build a car like this. So do that, so many different people volunteer that. That is where the initiation of this particular car, and then the innovation started. So the first prototype, what we were trying to do was we were going to retrofit the car. So we wanted to get a chassis from Japan, and then get some motors, controllers, and every single thing, and just plug every single thing into a car, and then drive as an electric car. So that was our initial step, initial idea. I thought that was the easiest way to do that. And then unfortunately, in the mail trail, we had this young guy with a beard. He said, are you out of your minds, right? And you can't do that, and you have to go there and develop every single piece in Sri Lanka. So I thought, are you out of your mind for me to develop all these things in Sri Lanka? So he said, if you are going to build anything, just make sure you develop every single part of it. So anyway, I think Bishan right now is actually sweating himself as well. So when you think about when I told him that we are going to build every single thing in Sri Lanka. So that was the journey started. So the idea is to get the donor chassis and then get all the electronics from abroad and then build a particular beautiful car. So then we said, okay, we need to have design goals. So a few design goals we need to have. One is 0 to 60 under 4 seconds, but I'm expecting it to become 3.6 seconds. Or next version with the front motors, we want to make it to become under 3 seconds. So 2.9 seconds is my ambition. Again, then Bishan will sweat again. So when I tell you that, it will be 2.9 seconds or so. And then we want to get 100 miles per hour top speed. So then also, these are miles per hour, and also 150 miles range. So that was our design goals. And then we created a team. So we got so many different guys, young guys. Most of the young guys over there, they were all young guys joined together. And they all contributed to the car in different ways. So we have some people on mechatronics, some people on materials, some people on electronic side of it, electrical side of it. But a very good thing about this is actually so many different young guys who just graduated, and some guys are undergraduates. They never believe that they can make cars. But when you actually push them to say that, okay, guys, you can build a car, right? You can build a car. So they self-taught so many things. So that's the last part of my speech. I will leave that one right now. So we got so many different expertise. They did not have the expertise, but they actually cultivated their expertise using internet. So then we had this particular team of people. Then we started building the car. And then we have, you can see on the top level components on that particular car. You can see the space frame chassis. You can see the battery packs. And you can see also the drivetrains. And you can see also the motors on the sides as well. The next one is actually now we started to build that beautiful body. So that was the most hardest job that I've ever seen doing so. To get that precision is not easy. You can actually design it, you can do the AutoCAD it, but it is not easy to do the body itself and do the whole scale plug itself. So today, this is actually taken today or yesterday or something like that. The full scale plug is almost completed. So once you have that full-scale plug, our intention is to make this particular car 100% carbon fiber. So currently, the first version will have the carbon fiber, and we also want to change the epoxies and change the colors. So we want to have the carbon fiber-based body and having different colors on the carbon fiber itself rather than painting it. That's our ambition plan. The next one is actually, you can see the chassis has been completed, almost completed now, so that you can see at the front suspension and also the rear suspension, the wheels, and also the steerings, all that particular part is already been completed. And you have to bear in mind this designing is not easy, because it actually taken months and months and months for us to design it before we actually develop it, because we had to design it to make sure that it actually withstand the speed that we are talking about, withstand the acceleration, deceleration, braking, and also all these things has to be taken into consideration. We have done so many simulations before we started building this particular car. The next one is actually our drivetrain. So this drivetrain also 100% made in Sri Lanka. That's something that we can be proud of. And then also these drivetrain and the motors, you can see the two motors and the drivetrain in the middle. And each motor produces about 450 brake horsepower. And altogether the car has about 900 brake horsepower. And if you take a Bugatti is about 1.1, so 1,100 brake horsepower. Whereas this car has about 900 brake horsepower. You can see our already... in here, you can see our drivetrain and the motors have been completed. So the next part is the electronic components. So now, because of this young boy here, we had to develop all these electronic components in Sri Lanka. So we started the motor controller. So motor controller is running about 700 volts DC and 600 amps. And also three-phase AC and liquid cool. So the cooling part is the most important part, because these batteries get heated up on charging and discharging. So the cooling has to be precision, and we have to know about whether the cells have been, they are working properly, whether any cells has damaged, or all these things has to be carefully controlled using the electronics. And as you use IGBT base with 3 or more microcontrollers in it. The next part is actually the battery modules, and we, in Vega, we actually buy the battery cells. We buy the battery cells and we build our own batteries. So it's the same thing that we buy the motors and we actually make our own drivetrain, right? So those are the different components in the car that we can actually sell separately. So in this one, this is our own battery, you can see on the right-hand side, and you can see the electronics that goes on the top, and then we buy the battery cells from America for the time being. But fortunate enough that we actually found one of these professors in Sri Lanka who actually made or contributed to one of the largest research projects happen in Japan. They're building carbon-based battery, which can charge 20 times faster than these existing lithium-ion batteries. So even today we use lithium iron phosphate batteries, which is the leading batteries in the market. The next one we thought is like we had to get all these charging units. You can have cars, you can build all these things, but you need to have the charging units. So what we have is we develop our own charging units. You have the level 1 charging unit, which charges like you go home, you plug your car into it, and then it can charge us from 8 to 10 hours. When you come up in the morning, then the car is fully charged. Then we have the level 2 chargers. We can put it on malls and the parking lots and stuff like that, which will charge in about, I think it's about 2 to 3 hours. You can charge, or 80% charge can be achieved using those chargers. And then we are almost completing our level 3 charger. The level 3 charger is a supercharger. Supercharger will charge your car in 20 minutes. So we are coming up in so many different models to do that, so that while you're having your car charged, you can have a coffee, you can read some news, you can do something. The 20 minutes is not bad. But 20 minutes is acceptable, because you can go to the supermarket, you plug it in, by the time you get your goods back, and then the car is charged. So the 20 minutes is the fastest now today. So that's actually more practical for the people to use cars, or use electric cars, having 20 minutes charges. But the other carbon-based charging, the batteries that when it comes out, I'm pretty sure that they are claiming is going to be 20 times faster than the existing the batteries. So that way that we can actually charge the car in about 2 minutes or so, or less than 2 minutes. So that the revolution on the electric car industry is evolved and evolved and evolved, and it's become more and more practical. The next part is the embedded controllers. So we have so many different embedded controls. Actually, to be honest, there's about 25 microcontrollers on board. We have the motor controllers, battery management, and then we have the steering, brakes, accelerator, and also we decided we are not going to have a mechanical differential. That's also, these people are going absolutely crazy, say that, no, we are not going to make mechanical differential, we are going to make electronic differential. So we actually, in this particular car, we have electronic differential as well. And then also distributed architecture, and also it's actually using the CAN bus. And then also we have a real-time processing, and also we have complete debug visibility. This is actually giving you a system diagram in there. So I will not go through most of the details, accelerator, brakes, E-differential, and then also BA battery management, supervisor, onboard charger, DC-DC, steering, etc. They are all electronics behind that particular car. The next one is actually our entire software architecture. So we are trying to run, underneath you have the hardware access, and then you have the C-based firmware. So the firmware is something that I want to actually explain to you guys quite a lot, because the thing is, like, at the moment, most of the Sri Lankan software engineering part is pretty much onto normal Java or Java development or C++ development or application programming, right? But our guys are not going into these niche markets like firmware development. So with this particular car, we trying to intend to give this visibility of developing firmware, and then Sri Lanka to be recognized as a firmware development destination as well. So that is kind of a niche that we can achieve by doing these kind of things in Sri Lanka. Then we have the CAN bus and also the encrypted access control. And then I actually was in another innovation forum, and I saw somebody was actually talking about the people can hack into those different areas, and then how do you actually safeguard those hacking on different layers in the software itself. And then on top of that, we are planning to run Android, and then through the Android, you have the wireless services, remote access, firmware and touchscreen access and stuff like that. So we are going to have like a smart interface to it, that if you have seen Tesla has about 17-inch screen in it. So we're also thinking of having about 17-inch screen. So while you're driving, you can do a lot of things. While you're not driving, we can do a lot of things, and the other guy can do other things while you're driving as well. So trying to have a fully onboard computer with all these multi-touch and all the other fancy things that you can do with it. And then the most importantly that you want to do is to give an API. So we will give you API access to all the Sri Lankan guys, all the young guys who want to play with it, and multiple API access level. And we can also try to do the CAN bus API, Java-based wrappers, Android-based central console. So that's the console I was talking about, and application and app development. So we want to give you the framework that you can develop different applications into it, and the complete vehicle control, and also the safe park, drive, evasive action, etc., etc. So one of the things that we can do in here, that's what I was telling you, that if you're trying to do smart things, you need to have something to work on it. So if I want to have a car, I can say that I press a button, the car comes and drive over here, right? So we need to have a car. If you don't have a car, we can't do that. So in order to have the car, and if you have any of these cars that today, they are not getting you to access or letting you to access to their operating system. Or if you can't access to the operating system, if you can't access, if the API is not supporting all these functionalities, we as Sri Lanka never be able to do cool stuff into the cars. So most of the time, the car market is shifting. Those days we are looking at, how many miles per gallon. Majority Sri Lankans are looking for how many miles per gallon for this car. Right? That's the most important thing for everybody today. And now, the thing is that today, most of the people are saying about what gadgets you have it inside the car. Do you have video players? Can the car come to my house? Can they park by itself? Can you go from here to here? And sometimes they will go and take my shopping and come back as well. So those are the things will come in the future. So before that future happen, we want to make sure our guys are trained enough, and our guys has our own car that it can do all that thing. So we as Sri Lankans will be the super cool car. So that's one of the things that we want to do, to give this API access to anybody who is interested in developing different applications. So we will have this kind of an interface so that you guys can contribute into that. So we have a car that actually compete for this, right? So now Rimac is one of our competitors. So that is actually, originally it has 20 employees and started with a BMW retrofit. And that's the thing that I was trying to do, but that gentleman over there just did not let me to do that. So the next thing is, and they actually, concept one is amazingly looking car. So they actually work on it for 5 years. So in each car, they are going to make only 70 cars. Each car, they are going to sell it at $1 million. So that's their thing. Vega, we have 11 employees, paid employees, but on top of the 11 employees, they have so many volunteers. There are so many volunteers. I have a great respect for all these volunteers. Even the designing of the car is volunteered, and also aerodynamic shape part of it is Tilak here is volunteering it. So likewise, we have so many different volunteers actually volunteered to do our car. And started in January, and we are actually on the 11th month now, almost going to be the 12th month. So we are trying to we achieve all these targets within last 11 to 12 months. So you have to appreciate the fact that nobody ever had this electronic or electrical or mechanical knowledge before. This is the first time that we all learn, okay? But if you compare the car market today, so everybody is asking me the question that why do you really want to build a supercar in Sri Lanka? Why do you want to build a supercar? Why can't you build a tri-show? Right? So that's a famous question. So the thing is, like, if you take supercars like these ones, Koenigsegg, Pagani, McLaren, Ferraris, Porsche, and stuff like that, basically the Koenigsegg and Pagani and stuff like that, Zonda, they are handmade cars. Right? And they are very expensive cars. If you look at the price of them, they are like 1.5 million, 1.6 million, 1.8 million. They are in dollars, 876 million. 1.5 million Mercedes SLK GTR. So those are in dollar prices. Why are they so expensive? Because they are actually fine-tuned to achieve those the accelerations, the speed, the top speed, etc., etc., and also the brake horsepower that we are talking about. And then also they also have this particular thing that they are also handmade as well, carbon fiber handmade. So now, if you are going to go and build a Maruti, one of the problems that we have is like we don't have the production capabilities. We don't have that money to spend on, most of the bigger, the larger scale car manufacturers, they need a lot of robots. Robotics costs you quite a lot of money. So that robotic cost is the one that we don't have today. So without that, we can't go into mass scale manufacturing. So that's the reason that we want to go behind a handmade manufacturing thing, which is handmade is much cheaper in Sri Lanka. So handmade is because the labor is cheap. Because of that reason, we can actually become very competitive in the international market because of the labor prices. Right? So that's one of the reasons that why we actually decided to actually make a supercar to start with. And then again, when you have a supercar, all these young kids over here, they will say, hold on a minute, Vega is faster than Koenigsegg. Vega is faster than Pagani. We are better than Vega. We are better than Pagani. We are better than McLaren. We are better than Porsche. So we Sri Lankans can build cars better than anybody else. So that is the mindset change that I wanted to have it in all of you. To say that we can do something better than anybody else. So if we make that supercar, we can tell every single child, we in Sri Lanka, we are the best, better than anybody else. So by doing that, we will know all the problems in the mechanical side, all the problems in the electronic side, electrical side, and every other thing that we will learn a lot. By having that particular knowledge, we will be able to downscale the car into so many different other cars as well. So again, this one, if you compare the Vega, so that's the most interesting statistics is actually this. If you look at the Vega, Vega has 40 kilowatts, Prius has 4.4 kilowatts, Leaf has 24 kilowatts, AMG has 48 kilowatts. Now look at the last bit. The cost per kilometer. In Vega, cost per kilometer is 250 rupees, right? And whereas the Prius is 330, Leaf is 2 rupees, and AMG is 290. If you take a high-speed car, or you take a car like Porsche, my Cayenne actually costing me 15,000 rupees to do 300 miles, right? If you look at 300 miles, is about, say, 500 kilometers. So the 500 kilometers costing me 15,000 rupees. In here, it's not going to cost me more than 1,500 rupees. So I'll save about 8 to 10 times by having an electric car rather than having a petrol car. So that's one of the car and the manufacturing of the car in Sri Lanka. And then we are almost on the target by April, May. So April is the target that we're going to release the car. And then the first prototype will be released in April. So if you ask me any other questions, I can't answer sometimes, because if you ask me where the market model is, how we're going to manufacture it, how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that, I will say I have not thought about it. We have not thought about any of this as well. The reason behind it is like when you go behind that particular passion, you don't know where it's going to end. Right? When you go behind that particular passion, we already recognize there are so many other things that we can do. We can actually sell the batteries. We can actually sell the drivetrains. We can actually sell the other electronics like motor controllers. Each motor control, if I'm going to buy from outside for a supercar, it's going to cost me $8,500 each. We can manufacture the same thing in Sri Lanka for about $2,500. So we actually make about 200%, 300% margin on all these electronics as well. So that's another part that we have. Then we realized, hold on a minute, we can actually install all these charging stations. So we decided to develop all these charging stations in here. So if you take one of these charging stations like Supercharger in Sri Lanka, if you're going to buy it from Germany, it's going to cost you about 5 million rupees. But whereas we can manufacture every single thing in Sri Lanka for about 1 million rupees. So that's about 4 times less to manufacture every single thing in Sri Lanka. So now when we realize that there is a huge market potential by selling the components and also selling the charging stations and other thing, we realize that we have another business case. So again, so when you are passionate about and doing something very passionately, you go behind that. When you go behind that, there will be so many things that you're going to happen. I mean, every single time, so many people are going to say this and that, and every single thing is wrong with you. What is wrong with you? Or you have to go there and do your studies. You have to do this. You have to do that. So when you're trying to, because most of the time I see in Sri Lankans, they like to listen to the other people. They are so worried about what other people think, right? So they are so scared about other people. So that is where our innovation is stopped, because we are scared about what they're going to say. So I can talk all these things. I know some people would not say any of these things because they think that if I fail to do so, everybody is going to laugh at me. So do I have any problem if you are going to laugh at me? I don't, because I don't eat from you. You are not clothing me. You are not giving me anything. You are not giving me any money. You are not going to letting me stay anywhere. You haven't given me a cup of tea either. So why would I worry about you laughing at all? Right? So that's the reason. So if you want to do something, if you really want to do something, don't forget about even forget about what your mother or father or grandmother or anybody says. Just go for that particular thing. So that's what I like to conclude on the last remarks. One of the things that this country, we need to innovate. We have to innovate more and more products. In order to rescue this particular economy in this country, we need a lot of value-added products. Right? Value-added products are the only one that you can rescue this particular economy. So I always say, today we are living in a really, it's so sad to hear this as well. But our biggest income is foreign employment, which is women go there and do all this labor work. Second biggest income is apparel industry. Again, women go there doing the labor work. Almost a third is actually also the tea industry, which is again women go there and doing the labor work. So if I'm driving a car and pumping the petrol and thinking that I'm a big man, while these poor women are actually going there and working hard to bring that money to us to buy the fuel to pump into our cars, and we go like clients, is not the right thing to do. So we need to change all that. In order to change that, only way we could change that is value-added products. So I had to thank you to inviting me for this and also doing this, all these inventions. Right? What you need to find out is a formula. How do you make that invention to become a sellable product? So that's what we actually created the trace as well, and we are trying to support. We want to work together, because what we do is like we work against each other. So I don't want a name. I don't want my thing publicized or anything like that. Right? I'm not after any publicity of myself. Right? I'm after the publicity of my country and rescue my country. So we all have to work together. So one of the things that I say is awards and awards and awards and awards. Our whole nature is working for awards. Right? If you go to the children, they are actually saying, what is my A-level results, my scholarship, my O-level. I mean, sometimes we say whenever you do electrical engineering, what you're also trying to do is like trying to go there and do CIMA. Why the hell you need CIMA when you are an electrical engineer? So I don't understand that because the accountancy. So then I realized one of the things that when I asked one of the young guys, why do you really want to do CIMA? He was actually selected to Moretti University to do electronics. Then he wanted to go there and do a CIMA, and he said, I'm going to CIMA class, can you excuse me? I said, why do you want to go to CIMA class? And he said, reason I want to go to CIMA class is my father wanted me to go to CIMA class. Okay, I said, okay. So then I said that means your father is not sure about you, because you are never going to become an electronic engineer. So in case if you are not going to be an electronic engineer, then you can be falling back to become an accountant. So your father is not sure about you. So how the hell am I going to be sure about you? So to employ you in my organization to do that. So that's one of the things that we need to change, that education culture and also the mindset of everybody, mindset of the parents. I think the mindset of the parents are wrong. So I'm going to conclude this one with one thing very important. The thing is, I actually went to one of these events. So all these middle-class people sitting there, they were talking about my son is in America, my son is in Australia, my son is in Singapore, and they were talking about how good they feel. In the meantime, they were talking about the corruption as well. Then I said, hold on a minute, all your sons and the daughters, they educated in this country. And they educated free of charge. Right? And they educated in this country free of charge and given the medicine, given the food, every single thing, and brought up to be who you are. And then suddenly they all left this country and gone. So all this money that has been invested by the country is been robbed by your son and the daughter. Right? In theory, your son and the daughters are robbers. Right? They really are thieves. You can't be proud of that. Only day that you can be proud of is like all these children, you can get back one day and say that I don't owe a single penny to this country. I have made something. I made a product to this country that values so much. I actually service this country, and that particular service is more than valuable of whatever the investment you have done. That way, you can come to yourself, the children can call themselves Mama Ratata Nayanatha. So I wish all of you one day, I don't owe a single penny to this country. Until then, I'm not going to leave this country. I'm going to work for this country. I'm going to make innovation. Thank you very much.